Good afternoon and welcome to this edition of KTN Newsdesk. My name is Betty Kialo. Elders from Bomet County are now asking Governor Isaac Ruto to sign the agreement with the national government for the supply of medical equipment. Addressing the media in Bomet Central Sub-County, the elders said they are entitled to proper medical services and their leaders should not block their access to this service.
Wananchi lazima wawe na afya nzuri. Nchi yenye iko na wananchi ambao afya yao imesoroteka ni umaskini tupu inapatikana pale. Na hivi karibuni serikali kuu ilipoamua kwamba hiyo vifaa au vitambo vya kusaidia wananchi kutibu ugonjwa wa saratani na magonjwa mengine makubwa yalikuwa yaletwa mashinani by devolved governments. Tunashangaa sana yule mtu ambaye anayesema ati hiyo vitu lazima ipitie njia fulani na wananchi ndio wanataka hiyo vitu. Kwa hivyo ikiwa zinatoka mbinguni au zinatoka mahali popote, kile kitu nataka tu atujali njia ile inapitia, ile kitu nataka ni hiyo mashini ziwe kwa hospitali zetu, siwe karibu na zizi.
Tunataka gavana assign hiyo ije mpaka hapa.
The Consumer Federation of Kenya says it has embarked on the recruitment of members to sensitize government officials on how to counter challenges on corruption. COFEX says the government has to stop talking tough and act, especially on the case of what it terms as a bungled investigations on the list of shame. They say values and principles of public service are flouted with impunity.
And the Director of Public Prosecutions are done. So it's an embarrassing thing. Why are we concerned? Money has been lost in huge proportions. In fact, over hundreds of billions has been lost. But how everybody is being cleared, I think raises questions. So we can only believe that either the two institutions did not have capacity or they have been coerced into giving that decision. And coercion can come in any form, either by inducement or in other form. And we are very concerned. In fact, shortly we'll be writing to the Director of Public Prosecutions.
Visiting United Arab Emirates Foreign Minister Sheikh Abdullah bin Zayed this morning held talks with his Kenyan counterpart Amina Mohammed. The two foreign ministers discussed ways to strengthen bilateral relations between Kenya and the United Arab Emirates. Bin Zayed is scheduled to meet President Uhuru Kenyatta later in the day.
As you know, the UAE has invested in Kenya, and we're trying to attract their entities to invest even more in the country, convincing them that we are an attractive investment destination, that we're actually the entry point into our region, and that we hope they can come in big numbers.
One of the areas which we are very much interested is when it comes to infrastructure and when it comes to agriculture. These are areas where we will be focusing a lot. We are in the process of ratifying some of the agreements that would make these investments more interesting, in an agreement on avoidance of double taxation, protection of investment. It will definitely boost and move our relationship further.
Property worth millions is said to be destroyed at Kitengela town after the Kajiado County government launched its demolition exercise. Well, this is the second phase of an exercise that is aimed at clearing blocked feeder roads. Kicking off at 3 a.m. this morning, bulldozers descended on earmarked kiosks and structures said to have been built on road reserves. County Roads Executive Dickson Ntikosia is leading the demolition with a contingent of armed police officers. He says the notice which had been issued to the traders and house owners expired Sunday night.
Kuna kirapu iliyekwa mbele nyuma ya kazi yetu. Sasa nasikia inataka kuwekwa parking. Sasa mimi nashindwa, watoto hawatasoma, watoto hawataenda shule ama ni nini?
More than 10,000 girls from disadvantaged backgrounds in the North Rift region will benefit from 1 year's supply of free sanitary towels. Well, this is aimed at ensuring they remain in school during the menstruation. The project, dubbed Freedom for the Girl Child, is mooted by the Lions Club of Eldoret and will also donate undergarments to the girls. The project's official Ajay Shah says the program has so far reached over 350 girls this year. He was speaking when they distributed hundreds of pads to pupils of Kiptingo Primary School in Elgeyo Marakwet County. He said the girls in some areas have been forced to stay out of school because of their menses, thus affecting their education.
Less fortunate members of this society. The Lions do lots of activities. We really help to serve the needy. Yes, and we are always ready to help the needy.
I believe that the number of days that our girls are used to miss school will now change, and this will have an impact to our girls.
Education Innovation Africa Conference kicked off today at the Visa Offshore Center to deliberate on new practices in the education sector. Well, it seeks to build stronger collaborations between the private and public education sectors.
And this is a forum where we have public and private sector. It's a very fascinating forum in the sense that we are trying to see how we can be able to build synergies between the public and the private sector in a way of addressing the issues of education. But most importantly, we are looking at the transformative leadership in education, and we are also addressing the issues of science and technology and see how Kenya, how Africa could be able to match countries such as Malaysia.
Now, the late Mother Teresa left a great legacy, and for at least one woman, it is a legacy that she has emulated to the letter. Mama Jeri lives in Kawangware slums, where she hosts the so-called unwanted elements in the society.
Friday morning at the Mama Jeri Rescue Center, and children are lining up for the morning porridge. This is actually not an official rescue center. It's the house of Mary Jeri, a lady who has converted her 3-bedroomed home into a center for children who have been defiled and forgotten by society.
Nilipoanza, everybody was like, hey, wewe unataka kukufa haraka. Unacheza na watoto wa watu.
The fear and worry that plagued her family and friends when she chose to open the doors of her home 11 years ago, welcoming orphans and little girls who had been defiled, has since subsided.
Nikaona hao watoto wanaumia sana. Ndio nikaamua the year 2004. Nikaamua kuwa ninawasaidia.
Ladies and gentlemen,
it's a decision that the former primary school teacher says she will never regret, despite the constant threats she faces by the alleged perpetrators of the defilement cases of children she receives ever so often. Cases like that of 14-year-old Prudence, not her real name. Prudence came here in January this year after running away from home. She had been facing constant abuse and has been defiled by her uncle several times before.
Alikuwa narudi mchana kama bibi yake hayuko. Na ananishika saa hiyo yenye amerudi before bibi yake akuja nyumbani.
But Prudence appears to be a representation of the ills that Mary says plagues the society. The cases she receives here are numerous, from young pregnant girls chased away from home as outcasts to those running away from early marriages. But with limited resources and a tight financial budget, Mary faces a world of challenges. Sick girls ailing from STDs are perhaps the most at risk.
Kuna zile dawa zitapatikana na kuna zile zitakosa. Sasa zile zitakosa, we have to buy. Na kama hatuna pesa, we have now to wait.
But she will not let that derail her from her purpose in life. And even as the kids continue to play unabated by the dangers of the world, for Mary, a parting shot to humanity is what she leaves us with when we say goodbye.
Kuna watoto wengi huko, maybe ni ya neighbor, na wewe ukimwona tu unamwangalia unaona kuna miba, hata utakujua pengine anapitia hali gumu ya kimaisha. Ningeulisa wa Kenya, the whole country, at least wachukue hiyo jukumu ya kuongea na hawa watoto na waelewe shida zao, ili watafute namna vile hawa watoto wanaweza rudi shule. Juu wengine maisha yao, they have a future, na kama wanaweza rudi shule wanaweza soma na wafaulu.
Timothy Otieno, KTN.
Ordinary Kenyans doing great things. Well, just a week after Kenya's 52nd Madaraka Day anniversary, KTN Stanley Mbishu walks down memory lane of what was then popularly referred to as a city in the sun. Here's the story.
The memory lane of social economy through which Kenya has passed is a great one. So old that very few people can recall or even tell of it. In particular, the memories treasured by most Kenyans date as far back as the 70s and the 90s. The contrast that exists between what and how things used to be back in the old days is totally way different from what is in the Kenya today. This is 6th Avenue in the olden days, later renamed Dalamere Avenue, which is now known to us as Kenyatta Avenue. The railway's roundabout, the famous Biashara Street, the River Road area, the Hilton, and the Stanley Hotel.
The handsome mahogany cabinet with a huge...
This man that rang.
Ngumu sana. Siku zote mimi nakaa na wewe hujasema napika vibaya, leo ndio.
What's the matter? Oh, I've got sore throat and my nose is blocked. Here.
Hii harufu inafanya mtu anaenda mbali, mapua mpaka nikashanga.
Hasa Nairobi
Kenya, taifa letu tukufu, tumebadili mwendo. Tutalinda katiba mpya. Anayependa Kenya, Kenya, taifa katiba mpya. Anayependa Kenya ni yule mwenye kutenda haki kwa watu wote.
I think I have spoken enough in this language. It is not my wish that I should be speaking to you in a foreign, and for that matter, in colonialistic language.
Nyinyi wananchi wa Kenya, nikiona nyinyi mimi saa ingine mimi karibu kulia. Tulipoteza watu 246 mwaka wa 98. Kwa nini hamkupiga kudemonstrate hapa kuonyesha tumepoteza watu? Na huko tunaandikishwa ati walikuwa watu 10 tu walikuwa. Sisi ni kuku.
Na ukituona huko kule, wewe tusaidie tu, hata utununulie chai. What the hell?
Na msifikirie sisi ni wajinga ati mumeweka hapo 100 million shillings hii procurement na uko na budget ya 30 billion. Alafu useme mimi nimemaliza. Hujamaliza. If you are not on it by next week, your status as an accounting officer will be withdrawn. There are many other Kenyans capable of doing that job, and we will request and demand that you show cause why you should still be a permanent secretary if you are not capable of fulfilling a simple directive.
As Kenya continues to strive in the global changing economy, this country in the heart of Africa prides itself that one day it will claim a position in the second world countries, if not the first. Stanley Mbichu, KTN, Nairobi.
Interesting piece there by Stanley. The good old days. I remember that Vic's Kingo ad. It was really, really hilarious. And some of the beautiful memories we hold dear as Kenyans. Well, we now take a short commercial break, but we'll be back with business. Stay tuned. Welcome back to KTN Newsdesk. Time for business. Mid-tier lender Chase Bank has signed a technical assistance agreement with Netherlands Rabo Development in its quest to grow penetration of its services as well as propel it to a full-fledged retail and commercial bank. The partnership will consolidate efforts by Chase Bank to increase access to banking services in Kenya through financial inclusion, private sector development, SME and agricultural finance, women, youth banking and development of innovative distribution channels will also be included. Well, the two-year project will improve Chase Bank's SME proposition by increasing its capabilities in processes, support systems and credit scoring for medium and small business customers. It will also strengthen the agri-finance strategy of the bank in selected agricultural segments through knowledge build-up, product development and implementation of value chain finance in partnership with Rafiki Microfinance. Let's move on to news across our borders. And Sudanese President Omar al-Bashir has formed a new government a month after winning elections that were boycotted by the main opposition parties and tarnished by a poor turnout. The new government will comprise a total of 31 cabinet ministers. In addition, President Bashir has also appointed governors for Sudan's 18 states in what he has vowed will be a new page for his country. Well, speaking at his inauguration last week, the president said that he wanted to repair ties with the West, tackle corruption and bring peace to the country. President Bashir won elections in April with more than 94% of the vote, which was boycotted by most opposition parties. And that's where we wind up KTN Newsdesk. Thank you very much for watching. Have a lovely afternoon. My name is Betty Kialo.